Hello everyone, welcome to this special preview. It was one that I wasn't expecting to do. It is Everton at Goodison Park in the second round of the Carabao Cup. We wanted it last season, we got Everton last season, but it was at the Eco Power. We will go on to that, but I am proud to announce that I've got Dave from Falcon Blues joining me to talk about Everton and kind of the start of the season that you've had. What's your expectations for the season, what we're likely to see on Tuesday night, and a bit of a chat about last season's fixture as well. So welcome to the channel, mate. Thank you for giving a bit of your time this week to have a chat with me.
Not a problem, mate. Thanks for having me back on. Good to nice to have you on our channel for the away game. So nice to bring it back, and because like you were saying before, playing each other twice in the space of 2 seasons when we haven't played each other forever. One at your place and now Goodison Park. It's it's just I think it's just a nice way to round things off, really.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not the last time we play each other, because I wouldn't mind seeing the new stadium when that's up and running as well. But this will be my first trip to Goodison, so it's come at the perfect time. I think if this hadn't have happened, I'd have had to try and get a ticket for a league game or another cup game, which I'm guessing they're like gold dust in the final season at Goodison.
I mean, even the home tickets now, like hen's teeth. You got no chance at the moment. Everyone's scrambling around for a ticket. Who's got a spare? Who's not going? Who can just anyone can get. Who's got a ticket? I mean, they're not going for big money. I don't expect that, but they are like literally everyone is like, is there a spare? Who's got an extra one? And you're scrambling around. But I think when it comes to like the last game of the season, that's when you'll see silly money getting exchanged for the last game of the season. At Goodison, the last ever game at Goodison Park,
I think that's probably a good place to start. So I know we had a chat about kind of what we're going to talk about before we started recording, but I've kind of missed that one. Being at a stadium for so long, I remember moving from Bellevue into the Keepmoat Stadium, now the Eco Power, and you have so many fond memories of kind of the place where you've watched football growing up. Is there anything that stands out for you as an Everton fan at Goodison? Is like a standout moment? What kind of hooks you to Everton, and you kind of get that buzz when you walk into Goodison every time you go, and kind of it just jogs your memory?
Yeah, I mean, well, for me, and I'm not gonna. There's loads like me. I was born on L4. I grew up on Goodison Road, 99 Goodison Road. Nice. My mum and dad only moved away from there 4 or 5 years ago now. So Goodison Park has literally been my doorstep. I stepped out my house with my mum and dad's, and Goodison Park, I just turned right, and Goodison Park is there every day.
Wow.
And it's one of those things that probably is someone local as I was, and I had mates from school who all live around there as well. It's something that you probably take for granted, and it's only you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Yeah.
And me literally, I could go to the match at 2 to 3 and be in the ground and in my seat, and not have to worry, and I can be back in the house by 5:05. Do you know what I mean? That's what it was like. That's how easy it was to get to Goodison and stuff like that for me. And I think it's just the general vibe and stuff like that. When I've not been going to games when I was a kid or whatever, for not having a ticket, or just my dad worked at Goodison Park, so I didn't really go to. I just went over the turnstiles for a number of years. Don't repeat that. But yeah, it was like when I was in like my teens and stuff like that, it was always like the game would be on. I probably wasn't paying much attention, or it was, but then the vibe just around Goodison Park and stuff like that was always there. You could feel it building up of a morning, like from like the Saturday morning. There's a match on. You knew there was a match on. The flag was up at the top of the main stand. You look out and you go, yeah, there's a game on. And then you just start feeling that buzz, and you're seeing the build up and the anticipation. And it's probably like people who are coming in from outside, who are driving in, don't feel that, but local and people who are living around here, they start to feel that buzz dead early. Something's happening. Roads are closing and people are more busy. People are like frantically going to the shops and whatever to get out to get there before they go to the game and stuff like that. And then you go to Goodison Park, and it's the last of the last great football stadium. Do you know what I mean? The first purpose-built football stadium in the country, and they're the memories that we've got. We haven't had the greatest of returns over the last 20, 30 years. We know that. We know we're crap. We know we're not that great. But we know the history of Goodison Park. You know what I mean? It's been there for over 130 years, 140 years, and it's like we've got 18 games left at Goodison Park now. And then when it gets to Christmas, you go, we're almost in single figures. You get to April, we've got 3 home games left. You get to the last 2 weeks in May, we've got 2 games left at Goodison Park. We're on the last game at Goodison Park. We are never going to be coming back to this stadium. Think about that. It's wild. I mean, I remember Sunderland fans were were in a similar situation when they moved to the Stadium of Life from Roker Park. I remember we actually played Sunderland at the last game at Roker Park. We lost 3-1. I think it was 3-1. But I remember that quite vividly. It's like, but I remember seeing Sunderland fans literally just like, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not coming back to Roker. We're not going to be doing this routine every day. We've now got to get into a new routine. How are we getting to the ground? Who am I meeting? What pub am I going to? What chippy am I going to? What am I doing after the game? How am I getting home? And it's all these things that, like I said, we probably take for granted because you literally just go through the motions when you go on a match day. You go to the pub, you meet your mates, you go to the game, you're at home, and you know your routine. Now we've got to
autopilot.
Yeah, it is. It's completely like that. And now you've got to work out your bus schedules, you've got to work out trains, you've got to work out the routes. What is the pub actually decent round there? You know what I mean? You're gonna, and then when you're in the new stand, you're going, this isn't the stand I want to be in. This doesn't feel like the Gladys Street or the Park End or the Bullens Road or the Upper Bullens or wherever you might sit, and you don't feel that same vibe. And it might take a couple of years for Bramley Moore to get into that situation where it feels like, okay, I'm home. This feels like home now. This feels like my new. This is where this is where I'm going to be, but this is where I'm happy. I'm happy in this seat, in this part of the stadium, or am I better up in the gods? Am I in another stand? And it's an emotional time just for people thinking about it. We see so many videos of like the drone footage and things like that, and we're looking at it going, this is going to be our new home in less than a year. And it looks
impressive. Yeah.
Oh, it looks absolutely stunning. It's gonna revolutionize Everton. It's gonna turn our fortunes round. Yeah. Because it's not just the football. From what I'm hearing, like corporate and all the other events and stuff like that. I mean, like Taylor Swift's at Anfield. Taylor Swift can now be at Bramley Moore Stadium. Do you know what I mean? And that's they're getting millions for these gigs. Liverpool.
Yeah, it opens other avenues, doesn't it?
That's what Everton miss out on. We miss out on that revenue stream so badly, and that's where it bits us in the arse so much. Where we've had, profit and sustainability rules because we're not making enough money to sustain the club. So, okay, we put all our eggs in this basket for the new stadium, but that's it. We need this to be a success, and Everton need to be a success on the pitch. We can't just rely on Pink and Taylor Swift showing up every 18 months to do 1 or 2 gigs. We need this to be the start and the catalyst of Everton going that way and not the way we've been for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, it is tough. Like when we moved from Bellevue to the Keepmoat, we've been there 15 years, and it's still, you never get that feeling of being home. You kind of get used to your new surroundings, and our stadiums. It's a great facility for our level, and probably a couple of levels above as well. But it's never quite home, and it's a weird. I can't explain the feeling or the emotions that I went through, and probably you'll go through, and so many other football fans have gone through. But hopefully, it's a good send off for a fantastic stadium. I've got a real soft spot for like old school stadiums like Hillsborough, Goodison, places like that. You see new stadiums, the kind of concrete ball. I know they're starting to kind of try and make them different on the outside and kind of give them their own identity. But I think older grounds, there's so much character in them, and it's a shame to see it go. But like I say, the new stadium, it just opens so many more revenue streams, and it might just be that springboard to turn Everton's form around.
That's what I'd like to see, but I think I want to get this season done first before I start thinking about what's possible for the future, because the emotions are running so high, and that went back to last Saturday as well. The game last week against Brighton, you could tell it's like the emotions are there. The emotions are already starting to stir. Okay, we lost 3-1 and we walked out early because that's what Evertonians do. That we vote with our feet when we're at the match. If we're shit, we're gone. But but then that's that's not what we want to see in our final season of Goodison. Do you know what I mean? No. So that's a wake up call, if there ever was one, to the fact that to the squad, to the manager.
Yeah, and I mean we're videoing this on Wednesday because schedules have been difficult to kind of get around, especially that we being bank holiday weekend. So you've got a game coming up this weekend against Spurs. That's a tough one. They didn't start particularly well against Leicester, and obviously you guys, like you just said, got beat at home to Brighton. Last season finished 14 points above the drop. You had 8 points deducted as well, so fairly comfortable finish with the 3 down at the bottom. It looks a tougher division this season. Do you think it's going to be kind of squeaky bum time all season, or do you think you've got it within the squad to kind of be comfortable and like I say, push on into next season?
It's a tough one, because I think this time we've got to learn from the past mistakes. We finished 14 points above the drop, which sounds great. In reality, it really does. But the fact that we didn't win a game for 4 months proves just really how bad the league was last season. Do you know what I mean? It was, you could easily say, oh, well, you've had 8 points deducted. If you'd have had that, you'd have had 22 points and you'd have been up there with Brighton, just behind Chelsea. Yeah, probably. But then that just shows you how poor, the likes of Forest were, the likes of West Ham. There was teams down there that you're thinking, Bournemouth and Brentford. Like, Bournemouth pulled themselves out of it really well, but like Brentford were going down, Luton. And you just look at it and you go, we were relatively comfortable throughout the whole of this. We looked at games, we were losing or we were drawing. We kept 13 clean sheets last season, which is a great feat in itself. But we were looking at it and going, well, we didn't lose, but Luton did, Forest did, whoever, and they were still dragging themselves down. And we were like, as long as everyone keeps losing, we're all right. But then just shows you how bad it was. The teams around us were still winning. We weren't, and we were still below us. And we'd had 8 points taken off us. We'd had 10 taken off us very early on at the start of the season, where we were literally a point behind Chelsea on. I think we were 11th and Chelsea were 10th. And then the day they announced the deduction, we dropped down to something like 17th. And we're like, we were literally a win away from being in the top half of the table at that point. And it's like, but then no one seemed to either catch us or, went on a serious momentum and started picking up points. It was only the likes of Luton who were actually winning games. But again, it didn't matter because we were getting the point that just kept us edging further up the league. And then, we beat Burnley in the November, I think it was. And then we didn't win a game again until we beat Burnley again in the February. 4 months, and normally that would have seen a manager off at that point. But I think the points deduction, you had to take that into account, how what was going on with Everton. And it was like, well, yeah, we've had these points deductions, but we've been piss poor in some games as well. We didn't win for 4 months, but we still managed to finish 14 points clear of the drop zone. So, do I look at it this season and go, is it going to be similar? Possibly. I think Everton have got enough there, and the signings that we brought in, we've got enough there to kick on. And I think Saturday was just one of those games where we took it for granted. We went down to 10 men, and we the momentum was just gone from Everton from 65 minutes on. Spurs is going to be a little bit of a different game, but like you said, with Spurs picking up just a point against Leicester, they'll be feeling a bit wounded. But it's their first game back at Tottenham Stadium, so it'll be like I think we've got enough there to go there and get a point at least. I can't see us winning it because we don't win against Spurs. That just doesn't happen. But for the rest of the season, though, honestly, I think we'll be all right. I think we need to look at a striker first and foremost. You know, I don't think Calvert-Lewin is going to be sticking around come the end of this month. Yeah. Or if he is, then he's got to seriously pull his socks up and start, getting in the goals, because he looked lost on Saturday playing up front on his own with no one around him to really give him any support. No real kind of threat going into the box for him or anything like that. No service, that kind of thing. But
yeah,
I think it's just all about now what Sean Dyche is planning. He's brought in some players who've got pace, who can, unlock defences and stuff like that. He's just got to bloody use them. So I think if he utilises them properly, brings in the players that we've signed, then I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, because we've only got a couple of days left of the window, haven't we? It closes end of August. Do you think there'll be any more movement at Everton? Any more players coming in or going? I know you mentioned Calvert-Lewin if he's sticking around until the end of the month, but you've brought 4 or 5 players in, decent quality. But like you say, you feel quite happy with the squad. But striker maybe if Calvert-Lewin goes.
I think that's the call of every football team, though, isn't it? They want a striker.
Yeah.
And where are you going to find that? I'd settle for a 10, 15 goal striker, but where are they? And how much do they cost? And
they don't come cheap, do they?
That's it. I mean, if that means Calvert-Lewin gets moved on, then so be it. For us to bring someone in, I think that there's players there. Even looking at Tottenham's side, there he made, Postecoglou made 4 changes in that game and didn't bring on Richarlison. I think if you offered Richarlison a chance back at Goodison Park, he'd snap your hand off, especially last season at Goodison. And I think the fans would welcome that. And I think that would give the fans a much needed boost up front. You know what I mean? It's like, well, we got someone there who's going to run his socks off for this club. Do you know what I mean? He's that kind of player. I'd like to see someone like Richarlison come back. I'd like us just try and maybe have a word with someone at Chelsea and see if they want to just get rid of these players, these 20 players who were playing away from the first team.
So they've got about 500 players in their squad, haven't they? It's ridiculous.
Just like I said, well, do you want to release any on a free and just send them down to Goodison? I'm talking about
we'll take a few off their hands if they want.
Exactly, man. So Chilwell, you've got Lukaku, you've got Raheem Sterling. There's players there who are just going to be twiddling their thumbs and picking up mega wedge.
Yeah,
is that how they want to see the end of their career, especially someone like Sterling or Lukaku?
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
That's it. I mean, they haven't got many years left, but they're all going to be picking up like 250k a week. So it's going to be difficult to shift them at the best of times. And then if you're going to try and sell them or loan them on, they're going to be looking at Chelsea to pay at least 80-90% of that wage, because they're just paying stupid money for these players. And then, they bring in another player. They put Felix in, haven't they, from Atletico. Conor Gallagher's gone the other way. And it's like, well, how many players do you want? And if you don't want them,
seems unnecessary, doesn't it?
And Everton are the ones that we need to be looking at for financial fair play. It's like, mate, you're having a laugh.
Yeah, something's not right, is it?
No, not at all.
But yeah, from you mentioned kind of Richarlison coming back and a boost for Everton fans. I think we kind of had that this summer with Billy Sharp coming back. Fantastic goal scorer at EFL level. Did it in the Premiership with Sheffield United as well. So hopefully that experience will help on Tuesday night. But talking about lineups, you've said that you've got a couple of debutants. It was a really strong lineup last season when you came to the Eco Power, and you made a couple of changes at half time, which changed the game. Gay, Young, and Beto coming on just provided the quality to kind of flip that game on its head. But are you thinking it's going to be a similar kind of strong lineup? Because I mean, Dyche, he respects this cup. I think from what I've seen, I think it's a cup that Everton can kind of expect to go relatively deep into. But to do that, you've got to play your better team, haven't you? But also kind of fanning some of your fringe players to try and give them an opportunity to kind of show that they've got something to break into the first team on a Saturday in the Premier League.
Well, I think he's probably going to end up playing Beto after last night, because Beto played for the under-21s, under-23s against Tranmere last night.
Yeah.
We won 3-1 in the EFL Cup. And he also gave start to Jesper Lindstrom, who's one of the other lads who we brought in from Napoli on loan, which is quite a step, isn't it? You know, you're playing in the Champions League for Napoli, and now all of a sudden you're in the under-23s against Tranmere at Prenton Park on a Tuesday night. You know,
welcome to England.
Levels, man, levels. Of course it is. So, welcome to the Premier League. Here's your debut in the EFL Cup. honest to God. But they've got a mini Wembley at Prenton Park, so you know it's nice to have that. But no, honestly, I think he'll probably look at I think he's definitely going to be giving the debuts to Jake O'Brien, probably Iliman Ndiaye, and Jesper Lindstrom. More than likely, he's probably going to be playing better up front. He'll probably have like Michael Keane in there at centre half alongside Jake O'Brien, who we brought in from Lyon. Mikhalenko at left back, but he'll probably, because we really haven't got a right back at the moment, he's probably looking at young lad Mason Dixon, who played last night for the under-23s, rapid little right back, but he can get forward. He really get forward. So it'd be quite interesting to see what he does with that, because obviously it's more than it. I mean, he's not suspended, but I wish he was with Ashley Young. We all wish he was suspended for the rest of the season after that send off on Saturday. Honest to God, a model professional, you know. And then, you know, with the likes of Iliman Ndiaye, Jesper Lindstrom, and Timur Abunam, who we got from Aston Villa, they're probably all likely to start. So I mean, I've wrote down an actual starting 11, which I thought was actually quite good for me, because I don't normally do this. But it's probably going to be Yao Virginia, or we've just brought a keeper back in. I can't think who we just brought back in. Old keeper. Can't remember who we just brought back in. Anyway, so Yao Virginia in goal, Mason Dixon, Michael Keane, Jake O'Brien, and Vitaly Mikhalenko, your back four. I'll probably have five of Iliman Ndiaye, Jesper Lindstrom, Dwight McNeil, Jack Harrison, and either one of Decore or Timur Abunam. And then it's either going to be Calvert-Lewin up front or Beto. So I think
Decore kind of pulled the strings last season. In the centre of the park, and then when Beto came on and Young and Gay in the second half, it just kind of 1-0 up, and I think we held out to about 73 minutes, something like that, and I think the quality just started to rise to the top. Then Danjuma scored the 88th minute winner. Thankfully, he's back at Villarreal, so he'll not be breaking his hearts on Tuesday.
And he scored again. He scored for Villarreal the other night as well. Apparently, it was a really good goal. But then all the Evertonians are suddenly clamouring to get him back. It's like, we learned nothing. I've just remembered who the keeper was. Actually, we're looking at bringing Asmir Begovic back. So whether or not that means Yao Virginia goes out on loan before the end of the window, and then we've got Begovic as our backup keeper, I don't know. He may start on Tuesday, or it might be Yao Virginia. It's going to be one of those. But yeah, I think it's a strong side. I mean, it's capable of, Ndiaye and Lindstrom. Lindstrom's new to the league, but then it's also Iliman Ndiaye was absolutely superb at Sheffield United and was part of the catalyst that brought them up. You know, Sheffield United fans were gutted when he went, and he went on to Marseille. So we're bringing players in. I think these are players now who don't want to be coming in and sitting on the bench, so they're going to have points to prove, especially Lindstrom, who he struggled a fair bit at Napoli, so it's an opportunity for him to revitalise his career and
just come in with that bit of hunger and desire to, like you said, prove a point.
He looked a little bit off yesterday, but I think that's more match fitness and sharpness than anything. Timur Abunam, who we brought in from Villa, with Lewis Dobbin going the other way, who then went on loan to West Brom. He was head and shoulders above everyone on Saturday for Everton. He was absolutely superb, and he's the one with the least Premier League experience that Dyche handed the debut to on Saturday, but he was excellent. He was chasing down, he was taking shots, winning tackles, and just being an all-round nuisance. He was superb. And alongside Garner Gay, who likes to just mop that kind of stuff up. He'll pick up a loose ball and he can run with it as well. So I think we've got plenty there that I'm not trying to be horrible or anything, but I think we've got enough to get through. And even if we didn't, there's enough off the bench, that we could bring on, and
Yeah.
But,
Could be a
I
long
think,
old evening for Donny, by the sounds of it.
just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like you said, but that first half at your place last season was the worst 45 minutes of football I'd seen since that second half on Saturday. That first half, man, Jesus Christ! I watched it on the telly. I was in Haven in the Lake District and was watching it.
Yeah.
And I just sat in the bar watching it, and I was like, it was full of Geordies all of a sudden. And I'm like this. I think you scored, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, fuck off, all of you just. But they're all like, oh, the Scousers are getting beat. It's like,
proper giving you.
And then it went to, and then Danjuma scored, and they're all quiet. Then it's like, and I'm just like saying nothing. I've seen this far too many times, and then Beto pops up, and and kills the game off, thankfully. But it, like I've seen one of your, I think it was your tweet, as like, it took a £25 million striker who cost more than your team to come on and turn the game for us. Do you know what I mean? So
not just the team, it cost more than our stadium cost to build.
Exactly. And that just shows the voids as well, isn't it, in between the leagues and stuff like that. And that's. I don't like stuff like that, because you're thinking like, well, there's teams that are dying on their arse, and there's teams like Chelsea who are just pumping money in and buying a hotel for themselves and then selling it back to themselves, and it's like, oh well, hang on, all of a sudden you've got this monopoly money to mess around with and stuff. But it's I'd like to say, I think we've got enough there, and we've probably got enough off the bench to, if shit turns sour, then we'll be all right. But I'm just thinking for yourself and Doncaster fans who are coming to Goodison, you're going to be coming for the last time to Goodison Park as a Doncaster fan. Do you know what I mean? So enjoy the time at Goodison Park.
We said before we started recording that I think for me it's all about performance. And the game last season at the same level, second round of the Carabao Cup, we gave a good account of ourselves, and I thought that first half, although Everton were poor, I thought we played really well and kind of and made Everton make errors. We put pressure on. The crowd were behind them, and I think we just kind of ran out of steam a little bit. We had a lot of injuries at the start of last season, which didn't help players playing in positions that they don't naturally play in. So I'm hoping a fully fit squad that we've got this year. We've made some really good additions. I'm hoping it'll be an entertaining game again. But I'm on the same page as you. Everton, I think, have enough to get by us, and they probably should have enough to get by us, with there being a couple of divisions between us. But the cup, you never know what's going to happen. But
that's it. I mean, honestly,
on previews,
have a go at it. Have a go at us. Do you know what I mean? We're wounded at the minute, especially after Saturday's result. And if we don't get something at Spurs on Saturday, there needs to be a reaction on Tuesday from Everton. So we'll be quite wounded. You know what I mean? So if you can get at us, like you say, you got at us quite early in the first half at your place. So and there's every opportunity. Just make an interesting game again, and it's on the telly. They're all on the telly, aren't they? All these Carabao Cup games now. So typically, Everton on the telly, anything could happen.
Exactly that. This is a very different preview to what I normally do. There's normally kind of graphics and stuff, and we do a bit of kind of history when teams have met. We've not met that much, to be fair. We were speaking before we started recording. Not played each other since 1985. That was before I was born. And then we played each other twice in 2 seasons. But it's not very good reading for Donny fans. Much better for yourself, Dave. We've played each other 9 times. You've won 5. We've only won 2, and we share the spoils twice. But at Everton, there's some big score lines that we don't want to repeat of on Tuesday night. 1936, going back some time, you beat us 8-0. In 1952, you beat us 7-1. The best result at Everton was a 1-1 draw Boxing Day in 1951. Football's progressed since the 30s and 50s, so I'm expecting a close game. I'm hoping that we put a decent performance on and kind of, like I say, make a good account of ourselves again. But I'm really looking forward to it. Goodison, final season before it gets knocked down and you move to the new place. Hopefully, we get you in the Carabao Cup in the second round next year, and we'll see the new place. But before we finish off, once again, thanks for giving half an hour of your week up. It'd have been nice if we could have done it closer to the game, because then we'd have had a bit more info on like what happened at Spurs and for us at Morecambe. But who knows? We're just looking forward to next Tuesday now. But to finish off, mate, I've got to ask for a score prediction. I'm going. Do you know what? I'm going to back my boys, even though I think Everton have got enough to beat us. I think it's a cup game. Anything can happen. I think we'll return the favour from last season, 2-1. Donny, what about yourself?
I've got to go with the Toffees, haven't I? Obviously, but I think like you said, we think we've got enough to get through. I reckon 3-0 comfortable. Really, I think, like I said, there should be a reaction from Saturday and this Saturday. However the result might go against Spurs, there's got to be a reaction at Goodison Park, and that's when we've got to realise, this could potentially even be the last League Cup game at Goodison Park if we're not careful. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So let's make sure that we're going out all out for I think for Everton. Really, we should be going out all out now for silverware. Final season at Goodison, make it memorable, not just one where we've ticked along. So I'll go with a comfortable 3-0 win.
I hope we score at least one, just so that I've got something to cheer about on the journey. But no, once again, thank you so much for spending a bit of time and talking Everton, because obviously leagues apart, so it's something that we don't really have on the channel that much. So really appreciate your time, mate. I will put the Falcon Blues links to YouTube, Twitter, all of the good stuff in the description down below. So if any lower league fans fancy heading over and supporting Dave and the team over there, please go ahead and do so. And if anybody from Everton likes lower league clubs and lower league content, by all means, subscribe to me for the match day vlog, which will be coming. So thank you so much. If you've enjoyed it, big thumbs up on it, comments in the section down below. As I say, subscribe if you haven't already. And also for me to say is thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Up the Toffees. Cheers, Dan.